In today's session, we will be talking about distributive network relations, and the certain questions which we will try to seek answer to in this session is: what is a distribution network? How does companies choose their distribution networks? How to create an ideal distribution network for a company, and what are the benefits of having a distribution network at all? We'll start with the first question, that is, what exactly is a distribution network? Basically, a distribution network can be seen as nothing but a flow of goods from the producer or the supplier towards the end consumer. Now, basically, this network consists of certain things like storage facilities, warehouses, and even the transportation systems that support this entire movement of goods until they reach in the hands of the final buyer. Now, this process that ensures that consumer receives the product, it can be done in two ways. One is direct sales, which we will discuss in moments from now, and a retail network. Direct sales, as the name suggests, you are directly trying to sell the goods, and a retail network is basically called as an indirect distribution channel. How does companies choose their distribution network? Now, basically, depending upon the size of an enterprise or the business that that enterprise is having, that basically decides how will the distribution network will be in terms of structure and sizes. These two giants, they don't need any introduction. These two companies are giants in their own field. So, like Amazon and Apple, they are having very vast operations, and they are very widely, they are globally operational. So looking at the magnitude of their business, it is more likely that these firms will be having more sophisticated and complicated distribution network, transportation, and even logistics systems. So that means the bigger the business, the more complex the distribution network is bound to be. Now, there are certain things that must be kept in mind, certain factors when any company is trying to decide or define its distribution network. First is the product demand that comes from the customer, the overall customer experience, the variety of products and the availability of the same, response time of the company towards a customer's query, and the last is product returnability. This is in continuation to the point number one. The two forms of distribution channel are basically direct distribution, where there takes place a direct sale from the manufacturer to the end consumer, whereas there is an indirect distribution where there is either a setting up of a new distribution network or linking its own operations to an existing distribution network. This diagram clearly indicates, the first image talks about a direct channel where the producer is directly selling to the customer, whereas in the indirect channel there comes an entity called as intermediary in between the producer and the customer. These intermediaries, as we all know, can be distributor, wholesaler, mass retailer, even brokers and dropshippers, right? So this is about direct and indirect distribution. Moving on to our third question, that was how to create an ideal distribution network. Now, distribution network, basically, it transforms and changes itself over time as the business grows, right? Because as the business grows, there is more need to reach to a larger customer base, consumers. So therefore, the first thing is that the distribution network must be set up in such a way that it allows for a long-term optimization to best suit the changing needs of the business. There are some things which are expected out of an ideal distribution network, like overall customer demand satisfaction, that too at a very low cost, and also at the same time maintaining all the required service levels. There are certain important drivers that are essential for a successful distribution and supply chain modeling. That is, finding a customer location, order quantity and frequency, transportation costs, and the mode of transportation required. The last one is warehousing. So first is a customer location. Businesses need to find and identify where their customers are primarily located, so that they can find a suitable distribution structure that works effectively in terms of cost, as well as it does not impact the overall price of the product. If the distribution cost is more, then obviously the producers will add that cost into the final price of the product. So ultimately what will happen is the burden would be borne by the end consumer. So it's better that instead of doing this, why don't we choose such a distribution network that the distribution costs are low, therefore this low cost will lead to reasonable pricing, final pricing of the product for the end consumer. Order quantity and frequency. It means that it is very important to know that how often does a consumer purchases a product, whether it is daily purchase, monthly purchase, weekly purchase, and stuff like that, and in what quantity does the consumer purchases the same. So it is these two things. If we identify them, they will help immensely in helping in our inventory delivery management. Transportation costs and mode of transportation required. Once we have determined the order frequency and the location of consumers and how much quantity are they offering, that will help us in determining the right type of transport required and the cost associated with each and the vehicles required. Warehousing. The business have also to take care about an ideal warehouse location, its size, ease of access, the costs, so that to ensure that the right selection is made to best suit the distribution needs and ensure therefore the overall customer satisfaction. There are other key drivers like factory and supplier location and also service level requirements. So these are certain drivers for this. The last question, what are the benefits of having a distribution network? Reduction in cost, greater customer reach, and customer bonding. First, about reduction in cost. Now, obviously, setting up a new distribution point can be a very costly affair for businesses as well as for manufacturers. While on the other hand, if they use an existing distribution network, that will benefit them in terms of speed as well as ease, also increasing the reach for products geographically, and they also help by eliminating cost and challenges that are associated with time, human resource, and capital required. Greater customer reach. An efficient distribution network allows for a wider, more broader customer reach because it enhances the speed at which the products reach the end consumer and opens up opportunities to reach other geographical areas as well. Customer bonding. Now, customer bonding, as the name suggests, is the process through which any company, big or small, or any organization, it makes some connections with its customers. The goal or the objective behind this customer bonding is to develop a relationship and a sense of community in the minds of the customers so that they always feel welcomed, are more likely to continue patronizing the company and its products and services, and also are more likely to recommend the company to friends and family as well. There are certain other benefits like faster growth, more efficient marketing, as well as greater knowledge about the customers and their product preferences. That was all regarding the distributive network relations. Thank you all for listening, and we will be continuing with more sessions. So stay tuned and thank you so much.